and I have been for about the past 20 months or so, and will likely continue to be undergoing treatment for, well, likely the rest of my life. I recently wrote a blog post titled Joy Despite Cancer, and I am very, very grateful for the opportunity today to share portions of that blog post with you. And so I appreciate your willingness to sit and listen to me this day, and I hope that something that I share today may touch something within you. 3 hours tramping around a haunted corn maze on a Saturday evening led to my diagnosis. I did it as a favor to the owner, many of you know her, so that she could attend an event with her son. And at the time, we had no idea that she was actually the one doing me the favor. The day after my evening tramping around in the corn maze, I have to stop right here. So first off, I'm a person of science. I was a science teacher, I was a science textbook editor. I love science and medicine, and so I'm a very rational, practical being. And so the day after my evening in the corn maze, I'm also tend to be very physically active. So for me, 3 hours tramping around a corn maze should have been nothing. But afterwards, I was so exhausted that I sat on the couch and slept the entire next day, during which point I said, something's wrong, I need to go to a doctor. So the Monday, I went into urgent care. Tuesday, I had a colonoscopy. And within a week, I went from being a relatively healthy human being to being a stage 4 colonoscopy, stage 4 colon cancer patient, with about an 8 to 12% chance of surviving for 5 years. But just as we don't describe ourselves as just another healthy human being, I refused for the longest time to be defined as a cancer patient, because I am so much more than a cancer patient, as are all of us. We are so much more than the root of our disease. I've always tried to live my life with no regrets, and I haven't always succeeded, but I have tried. So what does it mean to live life with no regrets? For me, it means a willingness to try new things, go new places, and enjoy the life I live. I analyze situations and try to mitigate risks. I mitigate any risks that can be mitigated, and move forward with confidence that I have done what I can to control what I can control, and I don't worry about the rest. For me, living life with no regrets means choosing happiness in the face of the uncertainty that is life. Despite my acute awareness of what it means medically to have stage 4 colon cancer, my desire to live life with no regrets inspires me to continue living. Should I be one of the almost 90% who died within 5 years of diagnosis, I don't want that time to be shadowed by fear, pain, or worry. I want to find the happiness in the time that I have, and I want to live that happiness. This is why I continue to volunteer at my son's elementary school, or serve within my church community. It's the reason I'm speaking with you today, because serving others makes me happy. And hopefully, my service can make others happy too. Anyone with a debilitating disease needs days of normalcy. We need to be a person, not a patient. We need to be more than our disease. But in these days of social media oversharing, and posts like, "Cancer sucks, click like if you agree," it can be hard to find days of normalcy. In the utter shock of diagnosis, people broadcast their disease status to the world and in an instant become defined as a cancer patient. And that definition hangs over their heads as if it has to be a part of every conversation. Because I don't want cancer to define me, I made it a point not to share my condition publicly for the first years, and especially with people who would only see the sorrow in it. I do not want pity, nor do I want to spend my time comforting those who worry for me. I am a person with a life, at least for the time being, and I don't want to spend it talking about the ravages of cancer. There are so many other things to do. So, I talk about it with medical professionals in order to plan treatments and side effect coping mechanisms. I make the occasional dark joke about it with friends who I know will laugh at my humor. But other than that, most of the time, I choose not to talk about it, much to the frustration of some others. At first, I only shared my diagnosis with very, very close friends and family, and I swore them to secrecy. I have always been stubbornly independent, and this was no different. I knew I would need help, and I would need support, but I kept that support group very, very small, and I only used them when it was absolutely necessary. They would maybe once a month help clean my kitchen just so I could have a clean kitchen. They'd occasionally pick up my kids from school. But more importantly, they gave me the peace of mind that if something happened and all the pieces were falling apart, they would be there to pick them up if I couldn't. But they didn't overstep their bounds, and they only did it when I asked them to, for which I was so, so grateful. I was not able to swear my sons to secrecy. They're a little too young to understand the need for it, and every child is different. So I made a decision to be honest with my children, and to help them understand the changes that were happening in our home. So I explained it to them using simplified medical terminology and keeping it like a science lesson, which happens a lot in our home. They didn't understand everything, and that was okay. They knew that I had told them the truth. They didn't, and they knew that I had done it without any fear or worry. So they just knew that I wouldn't be able to do all the things that I normally do. And because I wasn't afraid, they didn't need to be afraid. And so we were able to, still remain pretty happy and do most of the things that we had done before. By controlling how and when people learned I had cancer, I was able to have normal days whenever I felt normal. I didn't have to talk about cancer if I didn't want to. When people asked me how I was doing, I simply said, hey, great, because if things were great, they were great. I was able to say that I was doing just fine without the need to add today. I was able to be happy and enjoy the day-to-day business of life. As Ginger pointed out, it seems that everybody knows somebody who had cancer. Everyone knows someone who struggled, and it also seems everyone associates cancer with pain and suffering, hair loss and emaciation. Everyone's first reaction to a cancer diagnosis seems to be, no, really, how bad is it? Which is code for how long do you have? There's an assumption that a cancer diagnosis foretells years of suffering, worry, and a shortened life. As a society, we don't really do this with other diseases, and the thing is, cancer diagnosed in early stages is so recoverable. Stage 1, stage 2 cancers have higher than 90% survival rates. So early stage cancer really doesn't have a need for fear. And that is why diagnosis is so important. The reason cancer gets such a bad rap is because the treatment tends to cause more debilitating symptoms than the disease itself. It is only in the late stages of cancer that medical symptoms become apparent. Many have cancer for years without any symptoms at all, which is why cancer screenings play such a critical role. But the treatment can cause severe nausea, fatigue, hair loss, weight gain, a host of other symptoms, which everyone is familiar with. And it is the treatment side effects and symptoms that cause this disease to be so debilitating. You know, in fact, it's so, the treatment is so brutal that, have you all seen that YouTube video of the 90-year-old woman who's diagnosed with late-stage cancer, and instead of getting treatment decides to go on a bucket list trip and do all the things she's ever wanted to do? And people love that video and think she's so inspiring, and isn't it wonderful? And yeah, it is wonderful. But why don't we allow ourselves to do those things without the threat of cancer hanging over us? Why don't we allow ourselves to enjoy the life that we have and seize the moments in our life and find that happiness? Much of common terminology around cancer defines it as an enemy. People fight cancer. They battle it. Should you go into remission, you are a survivor. And by default, this makes cancer something to be feared. Those who have it are often considered people to be pitied. We don't do the same with other diseases. I mean, I've never seen a t-shirt emblazoned with, "I'm an appendicitis survivor," or, "Hey, I'm a C-section survivor." Because, I mean, let's get real. Those kill so many more people. And yet, we don't go around, you know, advertising that. But maybe we should. But the truth is, due to advances in medical technology, life expectancy in the EU has doubled in the past 150 years. Compared to all of humanity, I'm already living my second lifespan. So whether cancer kills me or not, I'm already a survivor. As are we all. The truth is, treatment works for the majority of people. You know, we don't have the silver bullet cure yet, but there is so much cool stuff going on in cancer research right now. I've recently joined both the Frontera trials and the Strata Oncology trial, where they are mapping the genetics of my personal tumors so that they can find specific medicines that would help my cancer. And I may not match to anything, but I might. But this is such an exciting time in cancer research right now with everything that they're doing. And so despite or perhaps because of my late-stage cancer, I decided to take things one day at a time, consider my treatment 1 year at a time. And I choose to view it as a treatment, not as a battle. I do not want to be an enlisted soldier with no control over my fate. I want to look at my treatment as a medical choice, where I accept the risks and the side effects in order to reap the desired outcome. And because I choose treatment, there are bad days. Today, unfortunately, is one of them. I've been on radiation for the past week and a half, and I'm going to be honest, today, I'm tired. But I'm here because I accept those risks, and I know that it's okay to sometimes be grumpy and angry and to not feel okay. Because on my good days, life is normal. And I get to attempt to raise well-adjusted children. I don't know how I'm doing on that, Ms. Harold, but hopefully we're doing okay. And it's okay to forget about the disease and live in the joy of the moment. So there are so many things that could have killed me me before now. I don't dwell on them. We all know any one of us could have gotten in a car wreck on the way here tonight. We don't dwell on that as a society. We all got in the car, got here anyway. And so instead of letting fear rule my life, I have chosen to, like Ginger, feel gratitude for each day I have, live a normal life, and attempt to raise well-adjusted children, have hope that the medical treatments will do their job, trust my doctors to provide me with the best information and care possible, and allow myself to feel joy and happiness. It is my hope that all who have had or will have the disease of cancer are able to find hope, joy, and peace in the time that they have on earth. It's okay to acknowledge that things don't turn out the way we want them to, but I think that we can acknowledge them and that we can move on, and that we do not have to trade our happiness now for any fear of what may happen in the future. Because perfect love casteth out all fear. And I truly believe that if we have faith in God's perfect love for us, there is no reason to fear. And even this can become my message of joy.